When the Disney Imagineers were planning Disney's Hollywood Studios theme park, they knew they wanted to stage stunt shows. But the question was, how? They had plenty of experience designing and building things like roller coasters and monorails and audio animatronics figures, but those were all pre-programmed and highly controlled. How could they bring that level of control and precision to something as kinetic and unpredictable as a car chase?
How do we make this something that can perform day in and day out and be very consistent?
And inventing and building the technology to make such an attraction possible was only the beginning.
A lot of science went into designing the way we're going to stage everything.
The Imagineers began building a 177,000 square foot arena that included a 5,000-seat stadium. First, they poured concrete footers 4 feet deep to support bridges and ramps. Beneath it all, the Imagineers buried a pit big enough to hold liquid propane.
We do have a pit that all the accumulators are for the LP gas, which are fed from a fuel farm, which holds propane, which fuel these accumulators.
Most of that firepower would be reserved for the show's planned finale, a spectacular display of stunts, thrills, and explosions.
We have a finale, which is 6 large compressed LP gas accumulators that blow off that put about a 45 to 65 foot fireball in the air for the finale.
Once the stage was underway, the Imagineers went to work on the ride vehicles. Although in this case, the vehicles wouldn't be ridden in by visitors. They'd be operated by stunt drivers. Because of all the jumping and spinning they would have to do, the cars needed to be lightweight. So the Imagineers took cars and stripped them down to custom chassis. The goal was a car weighing just over 1,000 pounds, about a third as much as a regular sedan. To keep the weight down, but provide the acceleration the cars would need, they installed a lightweight 1,300cc motorcycle engine that puts out about 152 horsepower. This engine provides maximum power at a minimum weight.
We have a firewall which protects the driver, as well as we have an external alternator to charge the system, 2 large fans to pull air from this compartment out the backside of the car, and we also cool our oil to the engine to keep it cool to save on clutches.
The engine was put behind the driver to provide greater stability during spins and jumps.
The engine had to be behind the driver's seat to make sure the car landed on all 4 tires.
For safety, the gas tank was reduced to the smallest possible size, just big enough to hold 1 gallon or 1 show's worth of gas. These cars were not built for comfort. The interior is stripped down much like a race car.
You have a stock car seat, stock car steering wheels, control dash.
There's none of the normal stuff you would have in a car like air condition or radio or any of that stuff that adds weight. It's just the mechanics that are needed to drive the car.
Even the transmission was specially designed and is definitely unlike anything you'd find in any kind of car, family sedan, or Indy racer. These cars can go up to 60 miles per hour in reverse.
The shifters in this car are bump shifts. So we got 4 gears going forward and then 4 gears going in reverse, and you just bump the shifter to shift the gears. In reverse, we have 4 gears to give us the torque in the lower end so we can get faster acceleration, and we can increase our speed by shifting to higher gears.
The Imagineers also put a specially designed hydraulic brake in the cars, called an e-brake.
It's all hydraulic. It doesn't lock when you pull it up.
So you can spin the car around and release it quick enough to go straight again.
In fact, the e-brake makes it possible to spin the car around and around a full 540 degrees.
I think the height of the show for the stunt drivers is doing the 540. When you get up into 2nd and 3rd gear and you're doing a high speed and you can spin the car around and then put it into reverse and backwards, just back up the car the same speed, it's pretty intense. You feel the force in the seat. Even
the tires meet the specific requirements of the show. They're overinflated to 80 pounds of pressure for better spinning and sliding, and so they can travel on 2 wheels without blowing out the sidewalls. It makes for good stunts, but the tires don't last long.
The tires on these cars will burn off like every 15 minutes on a regular surface. Here on the stage, we'll have to change them every 2 shows, so they wear down really, really quick.
The stunt drivers' costumes were just as carefully designed as the cars and the set. To make up for the lack of air conditioning in the fierce Florida heat, the drivers wear water-cooled vests.
This is that cool suit that we wear underneath our fire suit. It's got little hoses that run all through it. They connect to these 2 hoses, which plug into our water system. And through these hoses circulates cold water from the cooler. And it's a pretty wild feeling when you first turn it on. It's pretty weird, but it's awesome. And it lasts for about 30 minutes and keeps your core temperature cold when you're driving in these cars, because it does get really, really hot.
During each show, one stunt person was going to get particularly hot. The Burning Man, who catches on fire when his motorcycle skids through a wall of flames.
The equipment that the guy wears can burn forever, pretty much. It's awesome.
First come 4 layers of body armor and Nomex, a fire-retardant thermal barrier.
And then on top of that Nomex, he'll put on a racing suit like this, a 3-layer racing suit that's soaked in cool gel. And the cool gel acts as a really major thermal barrier. Then on top of this, he'll wear a burn suit, which is made of a special kind of denim that's stitched with Nomex. And then that's what we'll put the fuel on and eventually light him up.
The show officially opened on May 5th, 2005. And in summer 2008, Disney's California